You're watching Good Boys. You're watching Good Boys. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. I think this episode is your turn.
My turn?
I did a lot of talking last episode.
Yeah. I'm slightly distracted. I'm arguing with people I'm texting and arguing. But,
On the Twitters?
yeah, I'm tweeting. Just tweeting. Arguing with the ex.
People.
The ex. The awful. Don't ever get married, Jeff.
Okay, I won't. I'll tell my wife that she's got to find somebody else. We're never getting
And if
married.
you do get married,
if getting married's in the cards for you, honey, sorry.
Don't have kids, okay? That's the second piece of advice.
Okay. I will definitely make sure she knows that there are no kids in our future ever.
Okay, good.
So if she wants kids, she ain't having them.
Right, I'm saving you a lot of headache right now. Just trust me, buddy. It's just things are so silly. Like, I don't understand how you could spend so much of your life with someone and then become a completely different person. Just don't understand.
I just think that's how it happens with like any relationship. It just gets a lot more.
But I've had exes where I still talk to them and was friends, and like I don't understand how you can share. I mean, that's over half of my life that I spent with this person. Like,
right.
I don't understand.
I've had exes where I still talk to them as well, and I've had exes that I've never talked to since because they turned out to be terrible people.
But I guess the difference to me is
I didn't have anything that made me talk to them.
Right. Like, but if you have a kid with someone, I feel like there's a responsibility to co-parent for that kid. And if you can't do that, I feel like you're a bad person. Just a bad person.
I agree with you, which is why, and I can't say it to her because she's very opinionated, but my sister and her ex-husband, they haven't like physically spoken to each other in years. They send a text like once a week about where the pickup is happening for the kids or if anything is changing, and then like they put everything else through like friend of the court or the lawyers or whatever, because they've been divorced for 7 years now and they cannot speak to each other because they hate each other that much. And that's insane to me because there's 3 kids between them.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. Like, Crystal just doesn't respond to my text. She'll text me and ask something and I'll respond to her. And she's real fucking responsive when she needs something, but the moment I have a question or something like that, no response. No response at all. It's just obnoxious.
I feel like some people at work are like that, just with work questions.
Just don't get it. Anyways.
I mean, the sad thing is you gotta you gotta face it head on, though, because you don't want to end up you don't want it to be 7 years from now. And have it be that same.
The thing is, I am now basically co-parenting with her boyfriend because he responds to my texts. Like, the only way I can get anything done or get a response to anything or any information that's actually necessary. Like a couple weeks ago, I wanted to buy her a fucking coat. And I asked Crystal for 4 fucking days straight, have you bought our child a coat? It's a simple fucking yes or no. It's not controversial. There's not an argument that's going to come up from it. If that's what you're worried about, it's a simple fucking no, I haven't bought her a coat, or yes, I've bought her a fucking coat. It's that goddamn simple. And it took me asking her fucking boyfriend, have y'all bought her a coat, to find out if a fucking coat was bought. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you get along with him?
Yeah. I ain't got no problem with him. He's got to deal with her shit.
That's it. It is kind of funny that the boyfriend better than the ex.
Well, I mean, I don't have a choice. Like, I need a line of communication. So, like, I mean, I got to do what I got to do. Like, okay, her fucking birthday party. Her birthday was November the 7th. And my daughter wanted to have a birthday party at this place called Flower Power. They do like cooking for kids, basically. But it was real fucking expensive. And so when I looked into it, I was actually shocked it was expensive. It was $350 total for 12 kids. And it's like $25 more for any kids after the first 12. which we would have been fine. Only 10 kids, I think, total came to her party. So we would have been under that, but it would have been basically $350. And so I texted her and I'm like, this is what our daughter wants for her birthday. And last year, I know I've told you this story before, but I'll just tell the whole fucking internet. The previous year,
hold on, let me round up the rest of the internet. They're in the other room. Look like the rest.
The previous year, Crystal had said, don't worry about a birthday party. I got this. And then time for her fucking birthday came around and she got no party because Crystal didn't do shit. And she was always a procrastinator. I was used to that shit. But when it came to our daughter, she normally got shit done. But anyways, so this year, I wasn't going to let that happen. And her birthday fell on my weekend anyway. So I was going to make sure she got the fucking party she wanted to at least make up for last year. So anyways, I looked at the flower power thing. I text her. She says it's too expensive. And so her boyfriend texts me and he's like, well, do you think we could do something similar? And I was like, well, I'll look into it. And so I contacted the church near me, found out what it was cost to rent from them. And I set up a Google Doc with all the supplies that I thought we should get to put on like a facsimile of what flower power would do. And I linked it, everything, broke it down with a side spreadsheet that had all the cost lists and all the links to Amazon to buy all the supplies, like the aprons, the hats, the decorations, all that shit. So I texted her for 6 fucking weeks trying to get a response, and whenever it was almost time for the party, she hadn't responded still, and so I bought the shit. And then, like 2 days before the party, she texts me and it's like, so how much is this party going to cost? And I'm like, well, there is that Google Doc that breaks it all down. And so she opens up the Google Doc and then she texts me back. She's like, oh, you need to scale some of this back. That's going to cost too much. It's like, bitch, the party's in 2 fucking days. What do you think? What do you think I bought this shit? This shit's already bought. Well,
so did you buy it with the expectation that she was going to pay you back for it?
I figured she probably wouldn't. I mean, there was some expectations in my mind that like, that we were going to put on this party together, so to speak. But whenever she started bitching and saying, you need to scale some of this back and you spend too much, this is going to cost too much money and all this, I was like, don't worry about it. I don't need any of your money.
So now is the party going on?
Oh yeah, the party's already happened. It was last weekend.
Oh. Was it as good as you hoped it could be?
Oh, yeah, it went really well. And that was the other thing, too. Like, the days before the party, I kept texting Crystal when I was like, so what time are you coming to help set up? Are you going to help set up? I need to know, how I should plan this out. Do I need to, put more time for me to set up if I'm doing it by myself or what? No response. So I finally text the boyfriend, and I'm like, so I don't even know if y'all are even coming to the party at this point because Crystal can't fucking be bothered to respond. And so he's like, oh, yeah, we're coming. He's like, what time is everything and all this? And I was like, you don't know what time it is? I was like, I gave her invitations to make sure you could give him, because like he's got a niece or whatever that would want to go. And I was like, you don't have the invitations? He's like, oh, no, Crystal didn't say anything about invitations. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. So I sent him the fucking PDF of the invitations. And he's like, well, what's your plan on setup? And I was like, well, I've been begging her to fucking find out if she was going to be involved in the setup at all. And he's like, well, if she don't, fuck her. I'll come and help set up. And so he did.
By himself?
No, she fucking came, but she was very non-talkative.
I think it's going to be really funny one day when like they split up and you and him are like hanging out, drinking all the time, and like just like become best friends.
We had a long conversation about shit because like she just makes shit up. Like she made up this fucking story about like whenever she was working at the corporate office of a bank, and our daughter was like 6 months old. She claims, and this never fucking happened. She has this story where I went down to the corporate office, which I've never even been to this fucking building. I wouldn't even know what it looked like if I had to. But she's got this fucking story where I supposedly show up at the corporate office one day with our daughter in her car carrier and say, you need to take off work right now and take her. I can't be the only one watching her every day during the day. And she needs to go to daycare. That shit never fucking happened. I told him that. I was like, that's a goddamn blatant ass lie. And none of that shit ever happened. Like we had a conversation about, if I'm going to be working late, then like our daughter needs to go to daycare at some point because I can't be staying up this late and then getting up with her at 6 o'clock in the morning. But to make this shit up, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, do you think she's bipolar? And I was like, I don't think so, but I don't fucking know.
Good, I'm scared.
I can't do anything on this goddamn server. I can't place any blocks.
I went to the place where you throw the items in.
Yeah.
And I must have done it just right with the wings. I sailed through the one wide block. I'm, I'm back in the tunnel area.
Wow.
Like, I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I break this block, if it's gonna break the machine.
Oh yeah, look at you. How are you in there? I think you can just break right here, Jeff.
Yeah, I was okay. That's what I was worried about. I didn't know if I broke that, if it was the machine. I didn't know if it was hooked up to it in some way.
No, I think that's fine.
That's what I was concerned with. I somehow flew right through there.
So, anyway.
So you think they're gonna last?
I don't know. They were supposed to get married a while back. Like, there's been 3 different wedding dates, and none of them actually have happened. So I don't know what's going on.
Do you know why they didn't happen?
No, I have no idea. But I told him that one day when we were discussing all the lies and bullshit. I was like, I'm glad you fucking got her. You can have her. I don't want nothing to do with her crazy ass. I just wish she'd be able to communicate so we could co-parent our daughter.
It'll be I mean, I don't ever want to wish bad on somebody, but I would think it was kind of funny if like they split and you and him like stayed friends.
Yeah, I mean he's a nice enough guy. He's got himself in a world of hurt though. Like I told you about this too, but I'll tell another fucking story. Daughter was late to school, and so like I got a new Bluetooth speaker. Had this speaker hooked up to my phone. My phone's my alarm for everything. Next morning, when our alarm goes off to get her up to take her to school, I don't hear it because it's going through a speaker on the other side of the house. I don't even think it came out of the speaker on the other side of the house. I think it was like a half connection to the Bluetooth or some shit like that. Anyways, so I wake up at like 10:30 and I realize, well, fuck, what the fuck? And I'm like, did I forget to set my alarm? And I check and like it shows where it went off and everything. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I realized later it was the Bluetooth thing. Anyways, take her to school. So the next day, Crystal has lunch with her at school. And after she has lunch with her at school, she shows up at my house with him and she demands to come in my house and search my house for alcohol because I apparently was drunk and that's why my daughter was late for school. I was like, you've lost your fucking mind. I like told her what happened, and she's like, "Well, let me in. I want to search the house." It's like, what would even if you found I mean, I have alcohol in my house. My girlfriend was here the week before and had a bottle of wine. Like, what is the existence of alcohol gonna fucking prove anyways?
What is it gonna help that you find this stuff, right? Like, look, you found alcohol, and you're gonna prove I was drunk earlier. How?
Yeah, like I was drunk yesterday because I own alcohol. I mean, I own a gun. I didn't kill nobody.
I mean, you're missing out, then, man. Missing out on the death.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, just don't get married. If you do, don't have
kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
I said, just gotta let the wife know and see what she wants to do about the situation here. If she wants to stick around, or you know,
while she's ahead.
Sure. Trying to get a good.
So yeah. I stopped telling stories in my videos because they're all this bullshit. I don't want to fucking share such bullshit.
I mean, it is kind of shitty, but that's the kind of the fun stuff to share. Not really fun, but it. I do find it funny. You started this channel. You would tell stories, but they were never like personal recent now stories. It was, you know, stories from the past and things like that. But now people like want to know you and what's happening with you.
Yeah, but it's all shitty. I mean, like when I'd go to conventions and stuff, there'd still be recent stories. But basically, the moment that Crystal decided to fuck off, like, and all of that bullshit, and the amount of money I've spent on fucking legal fees and all that garbage, those are the kind of things I wanted to talk about, you know? And plus, it just seemed like, I don't know, it was too close to home to even fucking talk about that shit.
Right, of course. No, I get it. I see all sides of it. Because sometimes it's, you know, it is. Oh God, I just jumped and didn't spread my electro wings. Apparently, it is getting too, you know, personal. And sometimes it just makes you upset to talk about things again, as opposed to, you know, cathartic.
Right.
Especially when now, man, I remember making some videos back because that, you know, the fact that I record with you is pretty much the only time I ever record anymore. it's fun because I have conversation, I have feedback from what I'm saying directly, and it's not through chat, so it's easier to just like have a response. When I used to do my own series when I started and had some rough times in my life, I remember making a couple of videos that I think I eventually had to delete because I was just like basically whining and bitching and like it sounded like a whiny crybaby because I was just talking about what was in my mind at the time with no feedback at all.
Right.
Until after the fact, and it was not good.
Right. Yeah. I tried to make those kind of videos.
It was slime. I don't know which part of this chunk is the slime chunk. Are we just gonna have slimes like?
They won't spawn once we get the blocks down, basically.
So they won't spawn on wheat.
They won't spawn on farmland at all. So my PO box, they changed like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, even maybe. I came in and they were like, "Oh, you need to update this form on who owns the PO box." And so I took this piece of paper and I filled it out and I gave it to them, and I thought we were good. Then 2 months ago, I went in because someone said they mailed me something from Australia and it didn't, and they got sent back. And I was like, "Well, shit, I guess I haven't gone since I haven't gone in like 3 weeks or something like that." And so, okay. So I went in and my box was locked. And I went up to the front and I'm like, "My box is locked." And they were like, "Oh yeah, that form you filled out, you're not the name on the account. It's on Crystal's name. So she needs to come in if we're going to update this into your name." So we locked the box. Whenever that happened, we started sending all the mail back. And I was like, okay, well, fuck. So maybe I hadn't been as long as I thought it'd been since I was here, and just they sent the shit back. So I was like, well, we're divorced now, so I mean, you can see the same last name, and you can see all the mail in there goes to me or Mindcrack or whatever. So that should be good, right? And they're like, nope. She needs to come into the post office with you, or she needs to send a certified letter that says that we can put it in your name. And so I was like, okay. And so I texted Crystal and let her know about this. And I'm like, so what you gonna do? I got no response. And so I texted her the next day, same thing. What you gonna do? You gonna meet me at the PO post office, or you gonna certified letter? Which she works at a fucking bank. She gets a certified letter like fucking toilet paper from a bathroom. So
it's actually what they use in the bathroom at the bank,
right? So anyways, fast forward over 2 months now, and I've been asking for this. And at the birthday party, when they were both there, I was like, so what's the deal with this fucking post office? Can I get access to my post office, or should I just cancel this post office box because you're never going to let me have access to it? And since he was there, she actually responded. He's like, what's going on with the post office? And I fucking tell him the story. He's like, wow, that's shitty. And
like, man, what a bitch.
Oh yeah, there's been a couple of those times where I've told him about things she's done. He's like, "Wow, that's real rude." Like I text him after they show up at my house. I search my house. I'm like, "Don't you ever fucking show up at my house thinking you got some goddamn search warrant or the right to even enter my home? Like, have you lost your mind? That's the craziest thing." He's like, "I had no idea she was gonna do that," and I was sitting there thinking, "What the fuck have I got myself into?" So, anyways, I mean, again, really, she should have just given me a fucking certified letter at this point. It's that simple. So my daughter still goes to the dance school, and it's kind of near there that she's always gone to, and it's on Saturdays. And so she's like, okay, I'll meet you there on Saturday. And that's what I've been texting about tonight, because she texted me 2 days ago, and last week my daughter asked me if I'd take her to get her ears pierced. And I'm like, well, that was always supposed to be something you and your mom did together, so I think y'all should do it together. And she's like, well, I'm scared, so I want both of y'all to be there. And I'm like, well, I'm fucking... First thing I thought was, I know this ain't gonna fucking happen, because Crystal can't stand to act like an adult for more than 2 seconds. So whenever she texted me 2 days ago, Crystal texted me 2 days ago, said that she was taking our daughter to get her ears pierced this weekend. I was like, okay, well, why don't we do it after dance? She wants me to be there too, and I'm happy to do that. And she hasn't responded in 2 days. Me texting her, asking, what's the deal? Are you getting your ears pierced this weekend? If you're doing it, can we do it after dance? Whatever. So I finally texted him tonight, and I was like, so I've been texting Crystal for 2 weeks about this fucking ear piercing thing.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Did I break up?
Yeah, he's like stopped.
Oh.
So I've been texting her for 2 weeks about this ear piercing thing, and then it just went silent.
Oh, that was the end of the sentence. There was a period there.
Oh, you added the up inflection.
Yeah, I know. I'm just angry.
There was more. So, is that this coming Saturday or was that last Saturday?
It is coming Saturday. That's why I stopped texting a minute ago and lasted in the middle of the episode because I was responding to him. Because he was like, well, I think they got plans Saturday. I'm like, well, I hope one of those fucking plans is going to the goddamn post office. I didn't say it like that, but that's the way I feel about it. I was like, well, hopefully one of those plans is the post office.
And it's probably not, is it?
Probably not. He didn't respond.
I'm glad I'm currently not in one of those situations. I hope to be in one of those situations.
It's crazy how shit changes. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like, it could be so fucking simple. Like, she moved an hour away to live with him. And then she tried to change my daughter's school at the start of the year and was expecting me to drive an hour to take my daughter to school in the morning. And so I had to fight her in court. It cost me $15,000 with fucking legal fees. And the judge ended up deciding that, you know, she shouldn't change her school. But, you know, that's just a waste of fucking money for one thing. But the judge also basically said that probably shouldn't keep our current joint custody with them living an hour away. But so after this happened, so whenever this was all going down, the lawyer she had for our divorce and everything like that, she fired her the day before court and hired a new lawyer because her old lawyer basically was telling her that she couldn't win this case. And so she fired her, hired a new lawyer, then tried to continue the case whenever school started. So like earlier this year, she like tried to get me to sign something saying that I would agree to let the school be changed, and I said no. And so my lawyer filed a motion at that point to go to court to basically say that you know, to fight this out. But since what they had tried to get me to sign earlier this year was like a plea thing, apparently that couldn't be used as like a conversation, because the way our divorce is set up, we have to have conversations about any major changes, and if we can't agree on them, I can file and have the judge decide. But right. So that first time I took her to court, it got thrown out, and then she waited till the week before school started to say, I'm gonna enroll her in this other school. And so then I had to file again to take her to court to fight whether or not she could actually do that. And so then she changes the lawyers the day before court, and then her new lawyer tries to get the case continued when school is starting in 2 days at this point, saying that that she just got hired on the case and she can't hear this case right now because she just got the facts, and the judge was like, no, we've already kind of been here 3 times about this, and we're going to hear the case. You're not going to pull this on us, and not hear the case. And so, so we hear the case about the school. The judge basically says that, either way, it's unreasonable to be driving an hour for either party, and that we probably should come back to court and fight for one of us to have full custody, because, it's unreasonable on the child to travel for an hour. And so whenever all this, but before all this happened, before that was even decided, her fucking lawyer comes up to me and tries to get me to agree to a new custody agreement, which is like I would get all weekends, but Crystal would get all weekdays. And I was like, fuck that. No, fuck that. That's stupid. I'm not doing that. And she's like, well, once we win this case, we won't be working with you at all. And you'll be the one driving an hour every way. And you'll never get to speak to Crystal about any of this again. And and there'll be no working this out. And I was like, okay. I was like, maybe you shouldn't talk to me without my lawyer present. So there was that. And so then once the judge decided what was what, I went up to Crystal and them and I was like, so we should probably talk about this because, driving an hour is insane for either of you guys to do it in the mornings and afternoons. I was like, why don't we meet halfway and she can ride the bus home from school to my house every day. And then I'll meet you guys halfway on your weeks, so that she's not in a daycare, because Crystal was saying that she's got to be in daycare and she couldn't afford daycare and all this. And I was like, there's no need for a daycare. She can just take the bus home to my house every day, on your weeks and on my weeks, and I'll meet you halfway in the mornings, which is a 30-minute drive in the morning, 30-minute back, so basically an hour round trip in the mornings, and in the afternoons once you get off work, I'll meet you halfway. And
you did see Packrat's messages, didn't you, buddy?
No.
The way I think he was sending them to you, right in the text chat. I don't know if you're looking at it. He's basically stuck. He can't move. I'm glad. Oh, there you go. Now that you're way the fuck away from Brad, here you go.
So they like, this was the first time they would even sit down and talk to me. This is only because basically the boyfriend allowed this to happen. So we sat down, we had ice cream together after the court that day, and we agreed on all of this. So we do this for 3 weeks, where I on her weeks I'm meeting her in the mornings at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wait, what? Is he stuck like in you?
He's just standing there.
What? What could possibly be wrong with him? Where is he? Where are you at?
He's just sitting there in the farm.
We're at the farm though. Top?
Just you know, in the middle.
Just the farm.
Yeah, farm. So 3 weeks in, I get a text that a daughter's gonna start daycare on my week next week. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Like, I was like, so what? Why is she starting daycare next week on your weeks? And she's like, well, I don't have to meet you halfway. And so I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, so you don't get off work. You'll be picking her up from daycare at 6:30 and then driving an hour. So she's going to get home at 7:30 every night? Like, when is she going to eat? And, like, what happens in the mornings? Like, she's got to get to that daycare in the mornings so you can get back to work. Because you got to be at work at 8. So you got to drop her off there at 7. So then she sits there a while before she goes to school. Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, we had this all worked out. It was all in my mind, in her best interest, because, like, instead of going to a daycare in the afternoons, like,
Where is he at? I'm so confused. Oh, there, I see you guys. Never mind. So now she's gonna be in daycare.
yeah, she's been in this. This has been going on for probably over a month now, 2 months. I mean, there wasn't really shit I could do about it.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at whatever the hell is happening here. Wait. Don't tell me. Wait. What do you mean he's good? He's still in front of me. You are still in front of me staring.
Is he good?
He said he's good, but he's like still here. Do you see him too?
Yeah.
Wait, how did he know he was good? If he what? How did he say? Well, how did he know he was good if he didn't?
I mean, I guess he could see again. Like, the way he said it, it sounded like he was like in a black box or something. He thought he was stuck in a block, even though he wasn't.
Oh, that's weird. That's very strange.
Yeah, I guess he's fine now. But
It was
yeah.
good.
Anyways, that's enough of the stories. And I guess we can call this episode here.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.